Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today, as always. And in St. Louis, it's a cool morning indeed. Hope it's great wherever you are in the world today. And we are continuing with The Power is Within, the book I wrote, available on Amazon. Pick up your copy today. I am sure it will be of value to you. And we are on location 985 of 1250. We are 79% way through the book, getting near the end. Okay, before we begin, hit that like button and subscribe. We will go right now. Okay, I'll be the first to admit I've certainly spent a lot of time focusing on others. It's a hell of a lot more fun than focusing on myself. Indeed it is, but it doesn't do anything for me. At least at first. In the long run, it does you no real good, nor for the other person, and they know how you feel. No person has a skilled enough poker face to trick intuition. You can go up to a person and be nice and smile and talk pretty, but if you hate them inside, they'll pick up on that. Have you ever been in a polite conversation, but as you left, you had that feeling that something wasn't right? That's real, not just paranoia. It often leads to an internalization of fear about that person. Or worse, you turn to your friends and tell them all the things you now realize you don't like about so-and-so. Fight this urge. It is obvious that slandering someone hurts them, but less obvious is that it also hurts you. You cannot do anything to or for someone else in the world without it returning to you. It's called the boomerang effect, and it returns to you multiplied. Oh, Mark, you say, but there are people out there that deserve what is said about them. I've heard from everyone I know what a good-for-nothing Joe he is. But did you see it for yourself? Often we hear a very different story of a person from reality. It passes from ear to ear, changing every time until what was actually a mild argument between people turns into a brawl. Each person who hears the story misremembers it and puts it through the filter of their own perception before passing it on to the next person. Chapter 13. Over from under. Change is the only constant in the universe. Watch the sun come up one morning. First the sky begins to glow. Then a glimpse of red peaks over the horizon. Soon it turns into half a blazing fireball. And within a few minutes, you can't even look at it for more than a few seconds. Life is like that sunrise, constant change. But pain doesn't cause suffering. As I've stated before, suffering is an internal task. Only you can take it on. What causes suffering is your resistance to change. How ironic that we do adamantly resist what is so inevitable. Why do we do this? We crave control, predictability, consistency. The only thing we can control is our minds. When we don't control our minds, everything else feels out of control. We feel like a feather in a storm. I'm sure you've had those moments. We all have. Nights when sleep was impossible to find because of some worry about something we did in the past, or something we feared about the future. There is the bigger irony. This is where trust in the greater force is so valuable. Exercise that trust and make it strong, and you'll get through those nights. You might even sleep a little during them. Sometimes it can feel like difficult times will never end. They do. You can handle them. You can even learn to accept and find the benefit in them. You may never smile and breathe deeply when everything seems out of control, but you may realize that in every difficult situation, You are growing, and that is a benefit. Those times build your faith. They build your courage. They build your reliance on the greater power, and they allow it to bring you closer to your ideal life. And isn't that what we all want? A way to get closer to the ideal life we desire? But there'll always be something more, I'll tell you that. When you get to where you want to go, once you get there, you're going to want to get somewhere else to achieve more. That's the way we are. We're constantly expanding. And if you're not expanding, as I have said before, you are contracting. And contraction leads to depression, death, misery, suffering, and all of those undesirable feelings that we experience with those. Something in you drew you to this book. Whatever you're going through, you have not quit yet. By virtue of that alone, you are a winner. Give yourself some credit. Write that down on your assets list. You are still here reaching out, striving to live your life on a higher level, wanting to rise in consciousness. Rise you will. It won't be easy, but you don't really want to be. But you don't really want it to be. We humans enjoy the struggle. This is the reason we get so excited when an athlete overcomes seemingly insurmountable odds to achieve a victory. We relate because we have done that desire to overcome. We relate because we have that desire to overcome our own odds. We feel the emotion like we are experiencing their victory for ourselves. Like them, we also have that courage, if we only grow it and strengthen it. We see the football player running toward the end zone and the entire team trying to chase him down, or the runner coming from behind in a race, or the boxer who gets knocked down and gets back up. We cheer for the underdog because we see ourselves in that role, but also because we know deep down that we have what they have. And when you see those people and you feel that feeling, you too have that within yourself, that ability to do what that person does in whatever area of desires you have in your life. If you did not have that same trait that makes a champion, you would not be able to perceive it in others. We can only perceive in others what we have in ourselves or what we have the ability to have or do in ourselves. The reason famous people become famous is not a mystery or some secret formula only given to a few. It's only used by a few. They simply believe in themselves. They start believing in themselves early in life and never stop. So many of us start that same way. We come into the world believing we can accomplish anything, and we can too. But then we stop. We succumb to all the doubts implanted into us by our environments, our culture, family, friends, and ad infinitum. But all it takes is starting again. Every time we start again, we believe again. Start today. And today is the first day of the rest of your life. Have you ever heard that one? And it's true too. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. You can start over again today. Ironically, many people lose their belief in themselves when they go to church. You hear your pastor tell you how worthless and incapable you are, and that only God can save a wretched worm like you. The gospel means good news, but in many churches it has been turned on its head. You are born worthless and you must accept this God or that God unless you want to spend eternity in hell. What a thing for a child to believe, that they have a heavenly Father that loves them more than their earthly father ever could, but make too many mistakes and you'll burn in a lake of fire. That's pretty scary stuff, huh? Yet if one truly listens to the teachings of Jesus and the other great masters and teachers, they all consistently say that you don't have to go around avoiding hell or searching for heaven. They tell us that heaven or hell is within us. Jesus taught us how to live now, not in fear of the past or future, but in the love of the present. He taught us that the Father was closer than breathing and nearer than our hands or feet. If eternity is truly forever, isn't now part of that forever? This is where you experience heaven. Doesn't that sound like better news than you are a worthless sinner doomed to eternal damnation? Many people will have a difficult time accepting this. It's hard to let go of long-held religious beliefs, and yet Jesus himself spoke against religion. He said not to worship in buildings, but in spirit. He told us not to worship graven images or things built by hands of men, and yet we make elaborate statues and pray before them. You don't have to reject Jesus, just believe what he taught, not what the church teaches. Abundant life now, not in some far-off future. We have to trust and believe in order to have it. Have you ever wanted someone to notice you? That special someone. If you pray to God that they will want you like you want them, or you pray to God like they will want you like you want them. Months and years may go by and they never seem to see you, but your heart still burns for them. That burning eventually turns into anger and directs towards God, the guardian that is supposed to order your life for good. You shake your fist at this force. Then more months and years pass and you meet someone who is perfect for you. What if God had answered your original prayer and supplied you with that original young love? Would it have lasted? We often don't know what is best for us. We think we know exactly how much we need, down to the fine details. We give them all to God and expect him to make our life to order. That is called running the show, and it never turns out well. And I can tell you from my personal experience, it never turns out well, because I've done that many times in my life. I've accomplished many things that later on down the road left me feeling empty, or that I wish I hadn't accomplished. I've gotten many girls that I wanted, that after I got them, it's like, what is this? Anytime you think that when you reach the goal, whatever that may be, that you're going to find happiness and feel complete and it's all going to be okay, that is the big lie. Yes, we must have goals. I have written goals. I strive toward them every day, but the joy is in the journey, not in the achievement of the goal. Because guess what happens when you reach the goal? Yes, there's a moment of elation, but then you have to set another goal. So we're all on this constant journey of reaching our goals. That is, if you have written goals and worthy goals. What did Earl Nightingale say? Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. The progressive realization. He didn't say reaching a worthy goal or ideal. Success is the progression of, that's moving towards, that's striving towards. That's where, at least as a man, you will find fulfillment. Not in anything else, not in buying that car, getting this woman, getting that house, making this amount of money. Those are all endless, fruitless searches, okay? But the joy in reaching for them is where the fulfillment comes from. And there's nothing wrong with these things. I like money as much as anybody, maybe more than some. I gotta watch that one too. I can get to chasing that too much also. And that'll leave you feeling a little empty too. So I'm going to stop there. Thanks for joining me. Share this with a friend, and I will see you tomorrow.